February of 2011, a man in his 30s named Yang was eating dinner inside of his home in a rural village in China. Around him at the table were his 5 elderly aunts, who he lived with and took care of. He had been born with a disability that made it nearly impossible for him to speak. It also had left him blind in one eye. He had been sort of bullied for his disability. The few people that totally accepted him and loved him were his family, in particular his 5 aunts. Yang stood up and he cleaned the table off, and then he helped one of his aunts go up to her bedroom. He heard sirens outside. Now, Yang lives in this very remote rural village in China. Yang, literally in his whole life, had never even heard a siren or seen a police car. He saw at the base of the hill, about 600 feet away, were 2 police cars. The 2 police officers were standing there at the foot of this hill trying to make sense of this insane story a local farmer had just told them. He said about a week earlier, he said he dreamed of his mother and she was shrouded in darkness and she was terrified and she was screaming for his help. You know, in the dream, he ran to his mother to try to save her, but as soon as he would get close to her, it was like this shadow went over his mother and then she disappeared. Over the next several days, he kept having the same nightmare about his mother. When he went to his mother's place, his mother was missing. And so he had called the police. When they went to his mother's place, she really was missing. The officers immediately coordinated 2 investigative teams that would go out and look for the farmer's mother. They were sent back to the village. And it was during this search in the village that they got a tip. Yang's home. They found the front door was wide open. The police decided to walk inside. And so into this dark, cramped home they went. And as they're moving, they're calling out, "Yo, Yang, if you're in here, come out." It's totally silent. That back room is where Yang's aunts all slept. And when the police walked into that room, sure enough, the aunts were in their beds where Yang had left them. The police realized, like, wait a minute, we have been yelling and screaming and trying to get people to come out of the home. They realized the outlandish tip that had sent them here in the first place had to be correct. Yang did not harm that farmer's mother. She was one of his 5 elderly aunts, and he went to great lengths to care for each of these women. His 5 aunts were dead and had been for a long time. He was not related to them at all. These were just women from the local village where he lived who had been nice to him. They had all died of natural causes. Yang didn't understand it when they passed away. And so after they died, he felt really sad and lonely. And so, one by one, he dug these women up and brought them home with him and began caring for them as if they were still alive. When that farmer had gone to go check on his mother after having the recurring nightmare, he had gone to her gravesite and found her coffin was literally empty. And then the strange tip police got was a local had seen Yang carrying a body up the hill to his home. Yang's home was actually just a cave. Yang was arrested for what he did, but ultimately he was sent to a psychiatric hospital for treatment. All of the bodies that Yang stole were reburied.